In 1992, newcomer Netherlands game developer Team Hoy developed the game Hoy for the Commodore Amiga, a 2D platforming game that got pretty good reviews upon its release. But despite the game's warm reception from critics, the team of 3 devs at Team Hoy had a rough time finding a publisher. You see, Team Hoy had initially teamed up with the company Enterprise to publish the game, but at one point in development, they asked the team to send over the latest build of Hoy for testing reasons, which led to it getting leaked 3 weeks later and pirated like crazy. Team Hoy, obviously being pissed, decided to part ways with Enterprise after that, and team up with a new company, Hollyware. But then the team got severely screwed over by them once Hoy released in August of 1992, as they refused to give them any royalties for their work outside of a $200 check. Unfortunately though, there was nothing they could do about it legally, as they didn't have the money to enact legal action. And with the team having a sour taste in their mouths from Hollyware's blatant corporate greed and Enterprise's incompetence, they decided to start work on a new 2D platformer that would be a semi-sequel to Hoy, called Moonchild. Something new and excitingly different story, as Moonchild started development in 1993 as a side project next to Clockwiser, another game that Team Hoy was working on at the time. The game would star Moonchild getting sent to the planet Utopia from a moon, where the world becomes threatened by a techno-virus caused by a comet that crashed onto the planet. And now it's up to Moonchild to save the planet before it becomes a cold metallic husk. The game would have also had Hoy come back as an automatic sidekick to Moonchild, kind of like Tails in Sonic 2. As development went on, everything was going pretty swimmingly, until 2 devastating things happened. Exhibit A, remember how I mentioned Clockwiser? Well, by 1993, Team Hoy had actually gotten Clockwiser done, and teamed up with British publisher Rasputin Software to publish the game. And while they did end up publishing it, they also pulled a Hollyware, and refused to give any royalties to Team Hoy, leaving them in an indigent state. And Exhibit 2, Commodore died. Commodore, the company behind the Amiga, had filed for bankruptcy in 1994, meaning that if the game was to be released on this system, it would have released on a sinking ship. But despite these setbacks, there was still hope, as 2 members from Team Hoy had made an agreement with the multimedia Dutch company Valkischer to make a semi-independent game development department for the company. And once the future of the Amiga was up in the air, Valkischer demanded that the game be moved to Windows 95 operating systems, so that way the game would actually, sell. After 2 years of rebuilding the game for Windows, the game finally actually released on October 4th, 1997. However, Valkischer decided that it would be a great idea to invest heavily into the goddamn Philips CDI, the joy of sex console. And because literally nobody wanted to spend $800 on a bulky, barely functioning games console, and with the landscape changing massively, Valkischer had lost a lot of money betting high on the CDI's success, which in turn caused them to lay off a ton of employees and terminate their game development division entirely, which unfortunately caused Moonchild to only officially release in the Netherlands, and miss out on a worldwide release. And despite good reviews and the game being pirated outside of the country, it wasn't enough to save this one from falling into obscurity. Nearly 30 years later, in April of 2026, Maarten Seffen, the game designer for Moonchild, submitted the scrapped Amiga version of the game to GamesThatWeren't.com, a website dedicated to preserving cancelled and unreleased video games, and telling the stories from lost gaming history. And once Games That Weren't submitted both an article and a video to their website, people online started to point out just how unfitting yet surprisingly catchy the main theme was. And combined with the main theme's lyrics, caused Moonchild to very quickly reach meme status on the internet, particularly on Blue Sky. And suddenly out of nowhere, there was a rush of fan art, playthroughs, memes, YouTube poops, all within 2 weeks. And with the sudden popularity of Moonchild and its prototype theme song, the original 3 developers, including Maarten, noticed. And so, they decided to show their appreciation by releasing all of the original source files and assets for Moonchild, which in turn led to a modern source port of the game made by Moors on itch.io. It's just weirdly heartwarming to see this character that probably would have been fondly remembered by some but forgotten about by most, actually gain a second life online and be beloved by internet dwellers all over. Okay, maybe a little too beloved.